Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan, Google Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, or iHeartRadio. This is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan. Today I will be basically covering any big news that has come out in the last week. I'm not really gonna, cover all the stuff that happened while I was off for over a month. Actually, I think this marks 2 months since I've been out. I've been out for exactly 2 months now, I believe. Let's see, where's the last podcast I had? I don't know, it doesn't really matter, really, but I explained, I'll probably be back, early November. I mean, what you guys gotta realize is I have school and everything. It's kind of getting in the way of this podcast. Last year I had a lot more time with everything being virtual, so yep, September 4th, last time I had an actual podcast. The only other upload I had was why I've been out for a month, which actually gained me downloads, I believe. I think I'm up to about 188 downloads. To try to get to 200 by the end of the month of November, because I will have, by the way, when I said I'd be back mid-November, early November, I will definitely have time for a podcast, in basically all of November, but I think once December rolls back around, I'm going to have, I'm going to have another kind of break again. But there will be short bursts throughout the year that I will be able to record podcasts. And I'm just going to take advantage of those. So today's one of those days, and I think I'll be able to do another one tomorrow. And then next week I should be able to afterwards. I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday off again. I'm going to try, because I'm trying to get back to that schedule of weekdays and then chilling on Saturday and Sunday. So, alright, today I got a lot. I'm going to recap the big things that happened in Week 8. Rams got Von Miller. Aaron Rodgers, obviously as a Packers fan, that's something I've been hearing a lot about. And it's COVID saga. OBJ has also, in the last few days, this was the right week to be able to do a podcast, because the last few days have been pretty chaotic. Obviously, you got OBJ, Aaron Rodgers, and, I got some more stuff on the Pippen Jordan thing, because apparently, gosh, that documentary tore him apart. Also, I will talk about Mahomes' struggles, and really I can go on all day about what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to get started right away with the Week 8 recap. So, I'd say the biggest headline of Week 8 was backup quarterbacks. Easily, backup quarterbacks. And, I mean, that just shows, you can do whatever you feel like. You don't have to limit yourselves, Like, it's important not to limit yourself. You can do whatever you love to do, no matter what it is. I think that's the real lesson here. Cooper Rush. Think about this. Brady blew it on a game-winning drive against the Saints. Last week, Cooper Rush led a game-winning drive against the Vikings. And then, Trevor Siemian, Mike White got a win. One of the most impressive performances I've seen. Trevor Siemian stepped in as well, got another win. Mike White looked like Brady, and hey, maybe this is a new Brady thing, quarterback gets injured, another guy steps in, leads the Jets to I can't even say it. But he had a phenomenal game. But, as impressed as I was, back to the Cooper Rush thing, as impressed as I was with the Cowboys and Cooper Rush, this was just as bad for the Vikings. They got a home game against a quarterback that hasn't played in 4 years. And they even admitted they weren't prepared. They were asked, how did you prepare for this quarterback? They said they didn't. Any quarterback you got to prepare for. That's another big lesson in this backup quarterback thing that happened in Week 8. You got to prepare for any quarterback, no matter how simple you might think it is to game plan for them. Because they still have a coach coaching them up, they're still at practices. And I'm sure they're studying everything, But, wow. Cooper Rush, Mike White, Trevor Siemian, Geno Smith also came in. Probably had his best game. The Seahawks probably played the best they've ever played this year. And even though it was against the Jaguars, Geno Smith, 128 quarterback rating, 20 of 24. I mean, all these backup quarterbacks shined in Week 8. Let's move on to a game that didn't have any backup quarterbacks. Wentz and the Colts went against the now injured Henry and the Titans. And Wentz had one of the worst plays I've ever seen. I don't know if I've seen a worse play than that. I really don't. That's definitely up there with one of the worst plays I've ever seen. I wish I was, in a studio. That's my goal, to have a show of my own, but I wish I was, in a studio and was able to, show you guys the play, but I would just look it up. Wentz had one of the worst plays I've ever seen. The man backpedaled to the end zone and just floated it up. That is a rookie mistake by a non-rookie. That's never a good thing. Now on to the real big news about the Colts-Titans game. Derrick Henry is getting an MRI. And, this was something, that was inevitable. Sorry, that's a tough word to say. Inevitable. This was kind of eventually going to happen. I think it's incredible that he made it this far without getting injured yet, with all the carries he's taking. Because think about this. Derrick Henry has played 8 games this year. He's played 8 games. He's gotten 219 carries. That is of roughly 27 carries a week. It's bound to happen that you're going to get injured. But he was on pace to get another 2,000-yard season and 20 touchdowns. So that would have been a sight to see. But and I think he's out for the year too now. So that's an absolute gut punch to. He is one of the most valuable players in the league. I talked a lot about that last year when I was making my case for Aaron Rodgers to win it. Henry is one of the most valuable players in the league. I think there's been, the last 3 years, you could have made a case for him to win MVP. But the thing is, with the Titans, you take Henry out, they still have playmakers. They have Julio Jones, they have A.J. Brown. They have a pretty nice O-line, because if their O-line was not good, Derrick Henry would not be getting 2,000 yards. But that kind of kills the Titans almost. They can win a few games, here and there, but they have, without Henry, I don't think they're an elite team anymore without Henry. I think they're a good team, but not great. This week, the Titans have the Rams. Like, they're not going to beat the Rams. After that, they have the Saints. That's a possible win without Henry. Probably not, though. Then they got an easy one against the Texans, which they'll probably win. Then they have the Pats, which I think they'll win that anyway. Jags, they'll win. Steelers, they'll probably win. Niners, they might lose to the Niners. That might be a go-either-way game without Henry. Then they got Dolphins and Texans to end the game. Or to end the year. So, I mean, they won't be bad without Henry. They'll win a few games. But they could also lose crucial games as well without Henry. It's big blow to the Texans. Now we got the Browns and Steelers. The Browns are having... I think they're having a minor setback. I don't think they're gonna get destroyed, by this. Like, I don't think they're gonna... I mean, they've had a lot of injuries in the past few weeks. I don't know who's coming back yet. I think... Obviously, Kareem Hunt getting injured is tough because... and Odell's had his problems. But they no longer have that 1-2 punch in the backfield, which is pretty tough to endure. Their tight end's injured, Jarvis Landry has had his problems in the past. Their O-line also took a big hit. So I think saying they have a minor setback is a bit of a understatement. But I don't know what's going to happen with them. I never do. I mean, Baker... I think Baker's just... the one problem I've had with Baker is he's a little too, is snarky the word? Like when he's taking a press conference. He always has to have the last word. I don't know. I'll elaborate that on later in the podcast. But the Browns are definitely having a major setback. Now I'm going to talk about the Bears. And Justin Fields is interesting. I said he'd be the starter by week 4. But I was pretty much right. Dalton was the starter at the beginning. Then they moved to Fields. I said he'd be the starter by, I think I said week 4, right? Yeah, I said Fields by week 4, so I was basically right. I was wrong on Cam Newton and Mac Jones, but I was right on Jimmy G and Trey Lance, I went 2 for 3 on my quarterback battle winners, But, I think that was... those are 2 things I already got right. But this is, this is an interesting situation. Because he seemed to start to pick it up, last week. But he is definitely not having a good year so far. 65.7 quarterback rating. 59% completion percentage. 3 touchdowns, 7 picks. It's not a pretty start. Rushing has probably been the only bright side. He's had 2 touchdowns and 5.5 yards a carry. But he's definitely interesting. It's just he just seems a little inconsistent.